Well, hello, my name is Erivan. I'm from Brazil and I'm a musician and researcher. My research is about inclusion in music and I'm now finishing it, PhD, and hope to continue doing research and making music. My diagnosis, it's like a long story. Because I was diagnosed, I was like a few years ago, I was like an adult, and I had no idea that I had epilepsy. One day I just woke up and my girlfriend was in my room crying, and there was like two guys in the room. I didn't know who were them, and they were asking like strange questions like, what's your name? What day is it today? And it was like a crazy experience because I had no idea what was happening, but I knew that it was something really strange was happening. And I was trying to figure out what was happening, and they were taking me to the hospital. And it was COVID time, my partner could not enter with me. It was hard experience, I would say, like traumatic. And but then the doctors started to making like exams and everything after the doctor came to talk with me and explain the situation. And for me, maybe it was just one crisis and that's it, I would be good. But after that I had like other crises, and going back to the past although I didn't have seizures in the past, I had a lot of deja vu experiences, and it was a bit hard to accept my diagnosis. Yeah, I went through a long process. It's still not sure for me, but I remember then I had to divide the question in two, because before the diagnosis and after the diagnosis, and the diagnosis came with like the seizures, something more critical, something that you have to have a medical intervention. But before the diagnosis, I had a lot of experiences with deja vu since I was a kid, but I never had like seizures. And then I think it just went maybe not detected, but I think I can say I had like I was living like without thinking about it, just having like the experience of deja vus. And then my routine would be like I'm a musician as well. Since then I was sleeping like late. I was doing things like sometimes working like crazy, like crazy schedules sometimes. And that changed after like when I started to have like seizures. I had to adapt to to having like a bit better, like a healthy life, in the sense that now I need to sleep better. I need to have a better schedule, like maybe have stopping working at some point, be more conscious about my routine. And also I think before the seizures, the crisis I had, the hard crisis, I had like really a peak, like my brain was so active that I was not able to sleep. It was hard, but at the same time I was really like, my brain was so active that I think I was really creative. I was like doing things, I had ideas for music, I had ideas for projects. A lot of things were coming to my mind. It was really hard to even like to put it together to make something, but it was like inspiring period as well, that I was playing music a lot. Like I would wake up in the middle of the night, I could not sleep, and I was playing, taking my bass and playing, like having a lot of ideas. And after the diagnosis, that I start to be more conscious, and with the seizures coming, I had to stop a bit, like I had to find a way to sleep, like, and the medication was helping a bit as well to calm down my brain. And I still have like the inspiration, but I have to organize it to make it not that wild. Now I'm working on my latest album. Is to come. Now my first album was really during this period before treatment, before medication, that my brain was really active and I was like bringing a lot of things. And it was like time where I needed to put it out, and then I just I just composed the music, wrote it, and went to record it. It was really short process, and really, I think I would say really wild process as well. I was producing, I was composing and recording. Actually, also with help of people reviewing the recordings, like the other musicians recording with me, the sound engineers producing it, the visual artists I work with, producing the visual content of the album. And it was an intense process, and also it was my first album. Then it's like your first experience doing it. And now that I just recorded my second album that's to be released, it was also with a lot of inspiration. Most part of the music came by my process of let things come out, like singing, not using much the instrument, trying to see how the ideas come, but more a bit organized. I took more time to do it. I had more experience, and I don't know what was the impact of being under medication, if it had an impact or not. And it's hard to measure because I also had more experience, and then there are a lot of factors like that you can put in, you can consider here. But yes, a different process with before and after medication, and also the second album more experienced. For me, I had more experience as a musician, producer, and organizing everything. Well, the PhD I'm doing is about the inclusion of people with disabilities in music. I'm working with deaf musicians, where it's a co-designed research project where I'm working in collaboration with those artists to create. I was invited by some deaf choreographers and deaf musicians to create a project in dance. This project was co-organized by Corpuscular Dance in Montreal. And yeah, we went through 1 year of research creation process, and then we presented last year the entire spectacle. And also, apart from that, I'm developing tools for deaf people to be included in music, and it also opened my mind to think about how music can be not just an auditory experience through hearing, but also visual and haptic. With tactile, you can feel the music, mood sensory experience. And now I'm finishing this research in the few next months, and I'm planning to continue in this field of music and inclusion. And the thing is that when I started the research, is I was thinking about disabilities. I had been interested before just by accident. I was in contact with people. In Brazil, I was invited to. I was part of a project where I was giving music classes to deaf kids, and then the research came out from that. And then when I arrived here to continue the research, I was really excited about that. And then I started to have my seizures and everything, and I started to myself to be part of to have an experience as epilepsy that was changing a bit my perspective, my own experience with disabilities and everything. Since I started to accept the diagnosis and taking medication, I had to talk with people around about my condition, because I don't know, at the beginning I was a bit scared that I could have crisis anytime, and people I'm working with, they would have to know how to deal with it. And then I went to talk with them about that. I think for them it's, I don't know how is it to understand. I was not that comfortable talking, and I was a bit feeling a bit, I don't know, afraid as well that I would not have gigs anymore. People would not invite me to play anymore, and I don't know, who knows. And but I didn't think I think people were receiving it well. They were trying to help, yeah. But with myself, maybe I start to be more concerned about working, having gigs. If I would be able to go on tours, like to have like schedule where you don't sleep during the night, you don't sleep well. You have to maybe sometimes, yeah. That was my main concern, and I think now I'm adapting a bit, like trying to have a schedule where I can have a health life as a musician. I think it's clear the difference is since I started medication, I had no seizures anymore, no crisis, and it's good. At the beginning, I didn't want to take it. I thought that, you know, if you start to take medication, then because it was like medication for life, and you don't know what's the risk for like taking medication all your life. You're not going to stop at some point. You're supposed to take it your entire life. It was a bit scary for me, but yeah, the crises were going harder, and it was hard for me, but also for my partner who had to deal with it. And then I decided to take it, and then I had no crisis anymore. Like that's really good for me and for my family. But I don't know what are the side effects. I feel that now I'm more like sometimes more tired, sometimes more hard to concentrate. But I cannot say what's really medication, what's age, what's me being tired, or you know, it's hard just to identify what's really the effect of medication, what's not the effect of medication. But it's clear that I had no seizures anymore. Yeah, I think it's important because people need to know more. People who are facing it, they need to have resources. Their families as well. It's really important for the families that they are dealing with. They are living it as well. They are living the crisis, the seizures. They need support as well. They need resources to better support the person who has epilepsy and themselves. And yeah, research is really important for us to know more, to be aware of epilepsy, and even not even just for people who have epilepsy, or for people who are or their families, but people around as well, the community they live, society in general. Yeah, maybe they understood how to deal with it. Like if they see someone having a crisis, like to support, to have the resources to support the person having a crisis, because it's really hard when you have a crisis and you just wake up and you don't know what's happening. It can be a really traumatic experience, and then I don't know how people would have access to it, but it would be great to wake up from a crisis and see that you have someone that's offering some resources for you, like giving support and